what's up? Travel Chronicles, chapter 115-ish, somewhere in there. I did this yesterday, but I kind of freaked out because the file size was large. New phone, so trying something different, but yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. And it looks like it may have saved the file somewhere in the ether of the phone, and now I can't find it. So, take two. Couple of things going on, and the reason that I wanted to do it yesterday was plans voting on whether or not to become a union today. Girls Summer League basketball started, and I had some realizations about the invasion of Ukraine. So we'll just jump into those topics, try to get through them here before we get to work, and here we go. So basketball, start locally, like inside the household. They started the summer league, and they played 5 games essentially in 24 hours because they played 2 one night, and then they came back and played 3 the next morning, or at least before when they started the game on Tuesday night. And it's, I try to explain to my wife, because she gets frustrated easily, especially when it comes to basketball. Something where the kids have played, their entire lives, been around it, and they have some natural ability to the game as well, and not just ability, to dribble, to shoot, stuff like that. It's like the understanding of the game, of how to get the ball to somebody, where to cut, play defense, positional defense. They're good basketball players. She gets frustrated watching other kids play ahead of them because it's a shiny new toy, or here comes a coach's kid or teacher's kid, and it's like there's no way to get around. I'm horrible at the politics of that stuff. My parents were terrible at it, and Dina's family, for the most part, her brothers were all in, the individual type sports. She was a Palmerette, was her big thing. She did play basketball in junior high, and she ran track. So, there's always spots for people on track, it seems like, to do something, to help the team. But in a basketball setting, or football or volleyball or something like that, where there's one ball and there's a lot of players on the field or on the court at one time, not everybody's going to touch it. And certain people should have, control of the ball, or be directing the ball, and some people should not be. And the more you've watched, and I've watched kids play, for the last 16 years, 15, 16 years. Before that, it was, I liked playing myself, but, probably wasn't that good. But then when I got into coaching, the younger kids, I wanted to learn, more about the game. And, I watch a lot of basketball stuff, like almost all the time. So it's frustrating for me to watch sometimes, especially when looking at Summer League, because Summer League should be get players in, get players reps, especially players that don't play a whole lot, people that aren't going to private instructors or play in AAU, that get the ball in their hands and let them get game type reps here. Your players that play a lot and do a lot of practicing, like Summer League's probably not benefiting them a whole lot, but those players that don't play a whole lot, this is where you can, incorporate them, into game situations and get them some experience where you can draw off of it later. So to me, that's what Summer League should be for. And it's really frustrating because, I've watched like the last 6 years of 6 years of the high school Summer League, and it's the same run system on both sides, boys and girls. and it's just, we're trying to do too much. We're trying to run our offense. We're trying to run out of bounds plays. We're trying to get into the nuance of the game instead of just letting people play. And then we're keeping the same lineups out there for the whole time. And it's summer break, so the kids haven't played in a while. They're not in great shape, and you're asking them to play, multiple games back to back without much rest. And I understand, my best 5 out there. That's how we're going to win. That's how we're going to play. We're going to put the best 5. We got to do that. Can't play. Nobody's hanging the Summer League banner. There's no Summer League MVP. There's no Summer League All-States. It's just games of basketball. And they're usually not very good. They're not real well officiated either. So, spending too much time concentrating on just the starters running plays is a waste of time, in my opinion. They just need to get up and down the floor, get a bunch of shots up, and run. Get a little bit of conditioning here, but get game time reps, do some stuff you're not comfortable with, and figure out how to get better. And get interested in the game. Like the game. You can't walk away from a Summer League game hating the coach, and not understanding what's going on. That's the worst thing that can happen. You should walk away from games feeling pretty good, even if you're losing the games, because like I said, it does not matter. It does not matter. Even if there's some tournament at the end of these rec seasons, who cares? A lot of times people don't have their good players anyway, so you have people either on vacation or they're playing a different league or a different sport. You're going to be missing people. So it's not even a paper championship. It's completely useless. All right. So the next thing then is talking about the unionization of the plan. And we took a heat check a couple months ago. I think when it was first announced, came out. Big Boss came in and he's like, what's your feelings? You guys think it'll pass? And I had talked to somebody who's close to the place but not in the place, and their feeling was there's a couple guys that may not be comfortable with being in a union. Everybody signed a petition because you got to put your name on there, and if you didn't sign it, they know who you are, and nobody wants to be ostracized in that situation. Plus, just signing a petition to kind of explore it is not saying you'll definitely do it, because there's still options to get out of it. But once you commit, then now you're in it. Now you're going to have a vote on whether or not you want to be unionized or not. So everybody in the plant hourly signed the petition. And today is the last day to vote on whether or not they're going to be a union. And when we first took that heat check, I said, it'll probably pass, but not unanimously. There's some people that may not feel comfortable, doing it. And I think they kind of took that as hope that, okay, maybe we can get in here, talk to the rest of these guys, get them to change their mind, and not come in, not want to be union, and vote it down. And I'm not even, we had a discussion when it first started of what the rules are, what percentage you have to get, because I don't even think it's 50% of people have to vote yes in order to get it. And I know it's only the people that vote. So if you have 20 people there and only 10 vote and 6 vote yes, it 100% passes at that point. But I don't know if it passes with 4 out of 6 or something like that, where it's not a majority, but it's it's not even a plurality. It's just some people more than a quarter or more than a third voted yes. I forget what the rules are. Regardless, this thing's going to be unanimous because there were consultants brought in who were supposed to, deliver the points of the company in a way that wasn't meddling or something, but the way it was received was horrible. I can tell you that. I think the end goal was to not unionize, but hearing the guys' feedback, they're all jazzed up to vote yes. They could not be happier almost now to vote yes for a union after hearing all the stuff. And a lot of the stuff, I guess, that people were telling them was nonsense. and when I say nonsense, I mean it absolutely did not make sense from any logical standpoint. So, it's one thing to bring people in, to commission them to do a certain task for you and hope that they'll carry out those tasks. And it's another to have the end goal realized. So we brought people in, it didn't accomplish what it was supposed to do, or did it? I've been in plants with unions before, and yeah, it's a pain to do the negotiating and stuff, but once you get a contract in for 3, 4 years, 5 years, you don't have to deal with it anymore, So, doing these merit increases and bonuses and whatever, I don't have to do that. And the bad thing is the company's coming from a standpoint of, well, you guys are overpaid. But I think they're looking at just the hourly rate of guys, and they're not looking at the benefits. The benefits they're not very good. Like, everybody's like, this is terrible. The amount that you're contributing, the deductibles you got in healthcare. Like, if you had an actual health problem, you had to go to the hospital, get something fixed. Like, it's going to cost you a ton of money and time. And when you take that into account, the benefits are almost a minus, when you look at it that way. 401k match, okay, that's fair, but some of these places are getting pensions still, and that's, a lot of places don't do that now. We don't do that. So are you going to throw a pension in now to your plan? Because that's not in your original figure. You're just looking at an hourly rate. A guy's getting $3 an hour towards a pension, that's a big deal. That could be a big deal for them. So, but like I said, is it easier for the company? Does the company want to do that? Are we going to be like, oh no, darn it passed, shoot, oh well, aw shucks. Or are we going to be really upset and now it's us against them? And I don't feel that way. But I feel like people who were outside of the plant did not have a good pulse of the plant at all during this process. Like, this could have been completely avoided, and there were multiple people in the plant telling other people like how to avoid this problem, and nobody wanted to hear the solutions. So here we are, and it's like, well, it was avoidable. That's what we really wanted to do. So and like I said, looking back on everything, is it what we wanted to do? I don't know. And that kind of, led me to take another look at what's going on in Ukraine. Nice little segue. Because that really doesn't make any sense now either. You're 100 days in, I think, or close to it. I think it's over 100 days. And you made literally zero progress. Any press that comes out, on the world scale is horrible for you. The inflation is astronomical. Your country's being sanctioned, so I'm sure living conditions in there are horrible, putrid. You can't get wheat out of Ukraine now because the ports are all blockaded. You can't get anything in. This was supposed to be a military action, right? And I would think if you're doing a military action, there's a benefit in it for somebody. This looks like there's no benefit in it for anyone, And after so long, I feel like someone should have come in and said, okay, you know what, get out, stop. There's no adults in the room calling for this to stop, or being willing to put their foot down and stop, because Putin has spent 100 days on the ground battling essentially a border war with Ukraine. So we got to disarm the Nazis in Ukraine. Like, what were they doing? Like, what was Ukraine doing that they had to be stopped? That was so... Like, was I sitting at home at night worried about Ukraine? Like, no, nobody cared. Like, Europe wasn't worried about Ukraine taking over Europe. Dumb. I mean, it's a dumb argument. And even if they were, it's so, like, it'd be like some island in the Caribbean being Nazis. You know? It's like, oh well, that sucks, but they're not going to do anything to anybody. You know, was Ukraine going to take over Russia? And all it did was paint like a sympathetic light in the world. And, you know, maybe we're all being duped. I don't know. But it's the complete wrong approach. If they even were trying to do something good, but it's been such a waste, and everybody else is coming to the aid of Ukraine now. But it's not doing any good. And you look at that and you're like, what are we doing? We've increased gas prices to, over $6 a gallon in like California. And I think they've touched $5 around here. Maybe a little bit over $5. And it's so ridiculous. Food's going to go sky high. Inflation was already up because of the pandemic, because that was all screwed up. The way that was handled, and now you're sitting here looking at it going, dang, what money I did accumulate, now I'm going to have to spend on bread, or it's going to be, the money's going to be worthless. Maybe you can stockpile some stuff that's non-perishable type stuff. Then what do you do? So, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I said it doesn't make much sense to me anymore. I would think, I understand what Russia thought they could do, maybe, because they just went in there and took Crimea, and nobody did anything. It's like, this is ours now. And then were they trying to do that? Because I mean, they came in at Chernobyl, like right towards the capital, which has nothing to do with that eastern side at all. It's been a mess. And it's like, is this just a distraction so that we can, screw over the world economy for some odd end game that the world dumps the dollar or something else? I don't know. I don't see where it's going. It doesn't make any sense now at all. And I don't see how we get out of it without somebody coming in there. I mean, at this point, the Russian military has been so incompetent in being able to just, manhandle Ukraine. Just walk in there and take what they want. They've been so incompetent at it that, their only course of action, if somebody came in there and did stop them, some military came in there and pushed them all out and got the blockades out of the way and said, okay, you're done. You're done. Whatever you were trying to do didn't work. You're done. Oh my gosh, that's a turtle. You need to turn around, buddy. I've never seen a turtle try to cross the road before. It was pretty crazy. And he was up on him. He had the legs all the way out. I don't know if he was right on the edge, so I don't know if he was just starting or just finishing, but dude, you turn around. You turn around. You ain't making it. Unless you already made it, then yeah, good job. Well, I think he was coming towards the road. He's gonna be in trouble. Anyway, the Russian military has been such a mess. If somebody comes in there and pushes him back, Putin's only opportunity would be just to nuke somebody. Your military can't even beat Ukraine's military for whatever it was that you were doing. So, if we wanted to just go in there and push them all out, we could. And Putin's like, well, I want to drop a nuke on somebody then. It's like, is that what you want to do? You want to do that in the first place, but didn't have justification? I don't know. It's, like I said, it doesn't make any sense. hopefully it'll end soon. It needs to end today, because prices, inflation and stuff is out of control. Prices for stuff. Anyway, it's enough good news. We'll see how the vote goes, and apparently I'm going to have to get this thing off here right away, or Google's going to be yelling at me for storage space. All right. See you later. Be COVID free.